What is going on, you guys? Bastion Wagio here, and today I'm coming at you with probably the best deck currently out of Tactical Masters. We're going to be the Runick Archetype mix with Spright. This deck is actually crazy good, and I don't think I can think of a better combination right now in the current format. This deck, it plays around so many of the, I guess, issues that Spright may have had before. Whether it's consistency, whether it's the losing the grind game over to tier elements, things like that. It gets rid of all those issues whatsoever just by mixing these two archetypes as well. Honestly, guys, I can't think of a better combo, and I want to go ahead and get this out to you guys. So far on YouTube itself, there's only 2 profiles for this deck, which I think is pretty crazy considering how nuts it really is. So I was playing the Power Spell Sprite before this, and I honestly really like that deck. But the second I picked this up, started playtesting with it, I honestly think this is definitely going to be the best way to play Sprite moving forward, to mix it with, again, the Runick cards. So if you guys like this type of videos, go ahead and leave a like down below, subscribe down below as well, and leave a comment down below how you guys are playing Sprite, or how you guys are playing Runick, guys. I know there's a lot of ways you can go ahead and implement the Runick cards to multiple different archetypes, decks like that. So let me know down below in the description, not description, in the comment section down below. Let's go ahead and get right into the profile. Also, sorry for the weird quality. I'm trying to record this real quick since we're gonna wait for the weekend. All right. So first things first, of course, you have your Spright engine. You have your 3 Spright Blue, 3 Jets. You have your I kind of got this mixed up. You got your Spright Red and Spright Carrot. I actually took out Spright Pixies from here just because, honestly, I really do like Spright Pixies, but there was just no room for it in this deck, unfortunately. You're really not going to be focusing too much on battle phase at this point, because the Runick cards do say you have to skip your next battle phase. So the primary goal of this deck is really just going to be setting up a whole bunch of negates. Interruptions during your opponent's turn, and which the Runick cards actually help facilitate as well. But even if you can't go that route, this deck can still do really well, either setting up interruptions as well as breaking through boards and OTKing as well. Next, we don't play Diva, we play Nimble Beaver. It's because he has a much better grind game as well, being able to special summon from the Nimble monster from the graveyard. So I actually really like this package. After I picked this up, I haven't looked back at Diva. The only reason I would look back is if some crazy like synchro plays come around, but it seems a little bit too gimmicky at this point with the potentially making Baron or something like that. So I played 3 copies of Swap Frog and 1 Rodent Toad, and that's going to be it for all the monsters in the main deck. We don't play Dupe Frog just because Dupe Frog kind of sucks. And I think that's pretty much the standard at this point, where Dupe Frog, yeah, it has a cool effect and everything. It gives your opponent choose their attack target for them, which is nice, as like in a way, but it's not really going to be an immediate mandatory type of effect where if you don't have that effect you lose. Like, you need Rodent Toad or else you kind of lose a huge part of your deck as well. So that's going to be it for the monsters, guys, and the rest is going to be only spells, no traps. So let's get rid of that. So let's go ahead and start off big, guys. We played 3 copies of Runick Tip. There we go. The Runick Tip, actually so crazy. Let's just search any of the Runick cards for free. 3 copies of the Runick Freezing Curses, 3 copies of Runick Destruction, and then 1 copy of the Runick Flashing Fire, and of course we play the 1 copy of the Runick Fountain. So people might be already saying, like, why are you only playing 1 Flashing Fire? This clearly is the best one, whatever it might be. Yeah, I mean, it's good that it destroys special summon monsters, but at the end of the day, it's not really doing too much for you. There's a reason I don't think that Ghost Ogre is going to be the best, like one of the better hand traps for it, is because getting rid of the opponent's monster is actually not nearly as good, I would say, as actually negating the effect, and that's why I wanted to prioritize playing Freezing Curses. And with the just overall overwhelming amount of field spells that we play, not just field spells, but like floodgates as well, I think main decking 3 copies of Runick Destruction is actually really good. Only because you can also chain it to when they're activating a card, because technically it is still on the field. So you go ahead and chain this, destroy, and then you're automatically banishing top 4 cards of your opponent's deck to the graveyard, which is actually so crazy. So that's kind of where I wanted to prioritize the Runick cards, is maximize the amount of cards that I'm banishing off my opponent's deck. which is amazing against a tier element matchup as well, because they're already going to be milling quite a bit just to activate their effects. So, you know, mill, and then you go ahead and activate Runick Destruction. By the time they're done with their turn, they maybe have between 20 and 25 cards in your deck max. So with that, just a few activations, some Runick cards, some good defensive plays, and you should be able to go ahead and take that match every time. So then the Freezing Curses, again, takes up 3 cards of the opponent's deck, and the Runick Tip, again, for consistency. So it's going to be for the Runick cards. There we go. Put those to the side. For the rest of the spells, of course, we play 3 copies of the Spright Starter. Kind of mandatory at this point. It's your consistency, main consistency of the deck. With the 1 Smashers, we got out the Mystic Mines. So not really as much in this deck. I mean, we can very easily play under Mystic Mine, which is another really, really good reason why I actually love this deck, is that normal Sprites, yes, they can play Mystic Mine in the main deck and things like that, but this just plays it so much better to where you can actually, like, if you have Smashers, I would actually probably just get rid of my own monster just so I don't have a monster on board, and then just play with the Runick cards and just deck my opponent out at that point, have them play under their own Mystic Mine, you know? So that's actually really, really cool. You can just switch up strategies like that right off the bat. So that's another reason I really, really like this this archetype as well, this mixture. 3 copies of Enemy Controller. Yes, I still want to play this card as much as possible. It just helps you dodge any type of like negations, things like that, targeting negations. It helps you take your opponent's monster, which at sometimes actually going to be very, very beneficial for you, just to stop them from doing their shenanigans. For example, you're playing against in the mirror match, you go ahead and tribute one of your monsters, take their level 2 or rank 2, link 2, whatever. Let's go ahead and go off with your plays, or take their Spright Elf, whatever it might be, activate Spright Elf to special summon back. So really, really good, amazing card. Also, just taking your opponent's tier elements fusions and linking off with them is actually crazy. So I actually really, really love Enemy Controller in this deck. I'm not taking it out no matter what. That's for the rest of these spells. We play 3 copies of Triple Tactics Talent, pretty self-explanatory at that point. We play 1 copy of Called by the Grave. Again, I think self-explanatory. And the last 3 cards are, I think, the ones that I might argue with quite a bit. So 1, Upstart Goblin, and 2, Desires. So I understand that Prosperity is better. Also understand that the Megatons have not officially been released yet, so I still cannot afford that card. So I'm going to go ahead and play Desires for right now. Overall, it has not boned me just yet, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that up. I'm going to find some... Let's knock on wood right there. So Desires has not messed me up yet, which I actually am so grateful for. Thank you so much, Desires. But essentially, what I have Desires for is activating at the very end of my turn, because essentially the deck is consistent enough to where you don't have to worry about really bricking as much. Like, yeah, it happens every now and then, but then what deck has like a 0% chance of bricking, you know? So that's going to be the main reason why I want to play Desires. So I want to activate it during my main phase 2 at the end of my turn, just so I can go ahead and make sure that I'm able to finish off with either additional extenders, or maybe I draw into some Runick cards that I can go ahead and just have in my hand and use them as hand traps. And the Upstart Goblin, just the 40th card in the deck. If you want to take this out and put this Spright Pixies, by all means go for it. But I just wanted to, again, just see consistency at that point. There's so many really, really good cards I've drawn just of the Upstart Goblin. Playing a 39 card deck does not get old. Again, if you want to play the Spright Pixies, put it in here. By all means, if you want to go ahead that route, I'm not going to fight you on that. Or if you want to play it through your Prosperity, if you're just a big baller like that and you want to go ahead and do that as well, that's definitely fine. I'm just here to tell you that that's not necessarily always going to be the end-all be-all of the deck. But that's going to be it for the main deck. I believe that's a 40-card main deck. Now on to the... Ooh, can we focus a little bit? Thank you so much. Alright, so on to the extra deck, guys. So we play, of course, some fusion monsters. We play one... what's it called? Moonin? Hugin the Runick Wings. And then we play one of the Gary, the Runick Fangs. So Gary's going to add you your field spell whenever it's in the graveyard. And then Moonin is actually going to add you the field spell from the deck. So both essential. Also, Hugin is a level 2 fusion, which means it synergizes extremely well with the Spright cards. And it pretty much makes all of the Runick spells you're playing in your deck a free extender. In the event that, you know, whenever it might happen, maybe Nimble Beaver is the only card you have in your hand, you normal summon, attempt to activate effect, it gets Veilered, I don't know. Cool. Activate Runick Runick Freezing Chains or whatever it might be, summon this guy out, make Gigantic Spright also, and then go off with your plays. But also it's really, really good because then every single Gigantic Spright you make is always going to have 3200 attack, which is already enough of a monster to try to get over. So I think that's so crazy to even consider. Next, for the Spright links, of course, 3 copies of Spright Elf. I will never run this card at 2 as far as I am concerned. This is probably going to be the best Spright card in the entire deck. Main deck, extra deck. This card is so good. Even if you take your opponents, it still works just as good for you guys. I mean, not IP, although that is the next card that we play. Spright Elf is phenomenal. Just being able to go ahead and keep special summoning during the main phase. Heart once per turn, but still being able to special summon and just keep gaining resource back. 1 Masquerena, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, which is nice. 1 Access Code Talker. I play the Cerberus instead of the Phoenix just because, again, we can play under Mystic Mind. It's really not that big of an issue. Access Code Talker because his deck can still OTK if it needs to. Appaloosa is probably going to be the main link for you're going to be going into. Just because, like I explained earlier, with the Runick cards, decking your opponent out is going to be huge. But they all do, like I said before, skip your next battle phase. Which, if you're activating them on your first turn, you don't have a battle phase turn 1. So then you have to skip turn 3's battle phase, which means Appaloosa is going to be absolutely essential to make sure that you're able to survive for that long. And then you can OTK your opponent, or you just keep activating all of your Runick spells, deck out your opponent, which actually is something that I love about the Field spell as well. So Runick Fountain then also says that you can then, if you activate a Runick Quick Play spell, you can target that up to 3 Runick Quick Play spells in the graveyard, put it back in the bottom of your deck, and then draw that many amount. Up to 3, so that literally is a Pot of Greed +1 for free during your opponent's turn as well, which is absolutely crazy. So I think that Field spell is absolutely nuts, and just helps you grind out that extra turn that you might be skipping the battle phase on, and that's another reason I absolutely love this deck. Like, it's so crazy. Next, play 2 copies of the Gigantic Sprites, 1 copy of Totally Awesome. I need to get a secret rare. I know. 1 of the Oni Soul Sweeper. It's just a good card to have. And then 1 Sky Cavalry and 1 AA Zeus Sky Thunder. And this is the only kind of, I guess, flex spot in here, whether you want to go ahead and put like a Cat Shark in here for OTKs. But like I said, this deck doesn't really go into battle phase as much, so if you're going to be going second, I'd rather just get stuff off my opponent's board. So you can go the Cat Shark route, you can go the Diner Magician route to make sure that you're able to stack up your Zeus to get that double pop. So it really just comes up to personal preference at that point. I like having an interactive effect, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and keep Soul Sweeper in here for now. But we'll see how it goes, guys. So that's going to be it for the main deck and extra deck. If you guys want to take a quick look at the side deck, it's definitely not complete just because, like I said, the Megatons have not come out, so I've not been able to fully flex out the side deck. So we got 3 Raigeki for right now. Will be Lightning Storms, I understand. Triple Cosmic Cyclone, because we want to get rid of any pesky BS cards. Especially going up against Eldritch, I've realized that I have a hard time playing against that deck in general. Not just with this deck, just in general, I have a tough time. So this is a little bit of PTSD for it, but it is what it is. Again, this deck can play extremely comfortably under the Mystic Mind, so 3 copies of mine, and I also side a copy of Terraforming, just to add a little bit more consistency with the overall deck, which I think is kind of funny that I'm siding Terraforming, but at the end of the day, we're only playing 1 field spell in the main, so it's really not mandatory at all. But if you're going to be playing it in the side, going second, you definitely want to go ahead and make sure you play 4 copies of Mystic Mind. Then 1 copy Red Reboot, broken card. And I do not have 3 Appointer of the Red Lotus, but even if I did, I would not trade the Solemn Judgment for them. Yes, I understand hand knowledge is essential, is really good, whatever it might be, but I'm playing Solemn Judgment for 2 reasons. First of all, this negates everything. So even if they had the out, when they activate the out, I flip over the Solemn Judgment and get whatever they're doing out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense. And then I also play Solemn Judgment because I just picked these up and they're secret rare. I know they're like maybe $10 each, but I've never had Secret Rare Solemn Judgments until very recently, so I really want to play them. So it is what it is. I mean, that's definitely personal preference. But so that's going to be it for the main deck, extra deck, and this side deck, guys. That's going to be it for the overall deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. How are you guys playing Sprites and Runick, guys? Honestly, I think this deck is absolutely crazy, and it's probably going to take over the meta very soon. I think people are underselling Runicks, and people are, realistically, just my personal opinion, I think that is getting overlooked just because it's a gimmicky deck. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I don't think that's how we should be looking at this this deck. I think this deck is very powerful. It has a fantastic consistency. It has fantastic negation and interruption effects. It has fantastic grindability as well, which is a word that I use quite often here in the channel. But being able to draw 3 cards constantly and put cards back, which I know Tier Elements is kind of known for. They put cards back, but they don't draw as much. It's like Tier Elements kind of, but on steroids is how I see it. So I think it's actually so crazy. Also how Runick's just counter, I feel like counter Tier Elements very well. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you guys did enjoy it, go ahead and let me know by smashing that like button. Subscribe for more videos, guys. If these are type of like deck profiles that you prefer, let me know again in the comment section down below. And I'll also put up a poll to see what other deck profiles you guys want to see over the weekend. So I'll see when this gets uploaded. I'll probably upload it very soon for you guys, so you can have that content out for the channel. But again, let me know what you guys think. Comment section down below. Subscribe for more. I'll see you guys in the next one.